to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Again, I'm with my big mate, Caoimhin Agyarko. What's happening, Caoimhin? All good?
All good, mate. Just finished training, so relaxing a bit now.
Yeah, we spoke a little bit there. We're both tired, but my tiredness is laziness. Your tired is because you're putting in graft. So there's a big difference here.
Yeah, no, listen, we both work hard, so we both have the right to be tired, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's just jump straight into it then. The reason why you're doing a tough session and you're in training camp right now, man, you're defending your WBA international title against an undefeated American, Peter Dobson, at the end of this month. So fight week is not far away. I mean, so how's training camp been? How's it all gone?
Yeah, training camps went very well. It's going well. I'm sparring well. My weight's looking good, and yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to getting out again and putting on I feel like a career best performance. I feel like I need a career best performance to beat Peter Dobson. I know that he's tough. I know he's strong, and he comes to fight. He's unbeaten. He's not going to want to lose his O, and this is his kind of big money shot. You know what I mean? In terms of, it's probably his biggest payday. It's probably his biggest opportunity. He can come over and spoil the party. So I got to be on my A game, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
That's what I mean. Two young undefeated fighters going at it and putting the O on the line. I mean, I suppose it's the Mayweather era that O means everything to everyone nowadays. But for you, putting that on the line so early in your career against a tough opponent, do you worry about that O?
No, I just got to go out there and be the best, Caoimhin Agyarko, and I believe I'll beat anybody. I've lost in life. I've lost in relationships. I've nearly lost my life. I've lost in boxing in the past. Listen, I never want to get beat. I want to beat everybody, and I'd love to keep my O. And I believe I will. But it's that O that Mayweather doesn't. I don't think about it. It doesn't. It doesn't really. I don't really care about it because I know no matter what happens in my career, I'll achieve what I've set out to achieve. But yeah, listen, it's a risk for me to put my O on the line so against a tough opponent so early on in my career. But I feel like I need these step up fights to progress me to the right position in the world rankings and stuff to push on to world level and kind of get myself in a position for next year to challenge for the European and then push on to world level.
I remember we spoke a wee while ago. We mentioned that Jamel Charlo is probably going to move up now and vacate all these belts. These belts are going to become vacant, all four of them. That's what we're hearing anyway. He hasn't done it yet, I don't believe. So that being said, obviously, you're not in any rush to get one of these vacant belts right now, are you? Because even if they do become vacant and you are the WBA international champion, are you in a rush to get one of these titles against a tough opponent, a top 10 opponent, or do you think it's still in for you to go?
No, it's still early. Listen, I'm 12-0. I'm 25. But I'm in a great position now. I'm number 10 with the WBA. And once I beat Peter Dobson and get past him, I'm sure I'll move up the rankings. But I'm not in a rush. I think by the end of next year, I want to be in a position to go into kind of 2024, pushing on to world level and kind of challenging for world titles. That's my plan. That's the plan I've sat down and discussed with my team. I want to win a European title first and then push on the world level. So there is no rush for me. Like I said, I'm young. When I turned pro, or before I turned pro, sorry, I always set out a goal to win a world title before I was 28. So I'm 26 next month. So I have 2 years to achieve that goal of mine. And that would suggest I'm not in no rush. But if the opportunity came to fight for a world title and I feel like I'm ready to challenge, then I would take it with open arms.
Well, there is a fifth world title. It's the IBO now. Interestingly for me and me looking at it from an outside looking in, everyone loves when two Mexicans go to war, and everyone loves when two Irishmen go to war. I think you know where I'm going with this, Kevin. Dennis Hogan, he beat Sam Egginton at the weekend there to become the IBO welterweight world champion. Now, like I said to you there, when two Irishmen go at it, there's more than just a belt at line. There's bragging rights. There's the country of Ireland, the island of Ireland, the king of that island, so to speak. Dennis Hogan, a good fighter. He's a little bit more experienced than you. He's had 30 plus, 35 plus fights, maybe even 40 fights. I'm not sure, but does that fight interest you?
1,000,000%. And all take the IBO title out of the equation, but an all Irish dust up is something that I want, something that I've been kind of asking for, and if that's my way of getting a homecoming fight, then I would open it. I'd welcome that with open arms. But to fight for the IBO world title, yeah, it's a fight I would entertain. It's a fight that I believe I'd win, and if he was still champion in, say, 68 months' time, it's a fight that I would be chasing and calling for. Get Peter Dobson out of the way, one more fight early next year, and that's a fight that I would try to target.
Obviously, Dennis is based out in Australia now, so you think a fight against yourself in Ireland would entice him to come over for his homecoming, so to speak, as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think I seen something online saying that he wants a homecoming. So, I did see that people saying him for Spike O'Sullivan. I don't really believe that Spike deserves that shot. But it's definitely I definitely think that Dennis wants to come home and fight back home and definitely defend his title. So it's something that I would definitely be open for in say 68 months' time.
You're going to mention this to Eddie, Paul, the team?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm fully focused on Peter Dobson. I can't take my eye off the ball and look too far ahead. But I get this out of the way. We'll sit down and discuss what's next, and that'll be one of the topics. Make the Dennis Hogan fight happen for next year, or whoever it is, whoever. To be honest, listen, I wanted an all Irish dust up. I'd love that. It would make sense to go back home and have that, but Belfast, I'm not going to shut up about it. It has to happen next year. That's my main priority. That's my main kind of target to get Eddie. He believes in it, so I have to make that happen for next year.
Again, when we spoke about world titles and getting these shots and stuff like that against these big names, you've always said, "Listen, I'm young. I'm still learning. You're a new training team as well, so there's still time on your hands." But last week, when obviously the Conor Benn and Chris Eubank fight was postponed and the news about Conor Benn's failed drugs test came out, you basically put out a thing on your Instagram saying, Eddie, don't cancel the event. I'll jump in and face Chris Eubank Jr. Now, how serious were you when you put out that post? If
Eddie would have rung me that day and said, "Do you want to make this fight happen?" I would have took it 1,000,000%. I'm a fighting man, Andy. The thing about me is I'm not scared of no man. I'll fight anybody. Send me a contract if the numbers make sense. I'm ready to fight. Like I said, I'm not here to protect records first and foremost, I believe in myself against anybody. I believe I would beat Chris Eubank Jr. I believe my style of fighting, that explosiveness is something that would trouble him. So yeah, I would have been ready to jump in at any time and take that fight on. So first and foremost, I believe in myself. Secondly, if Eddie was serious and rung me, I would have took the fight. It's an opportunity. It's one of them opportunities that you can't knock back as well. Like, even if I didn't put anything out and Eddie rung me and said, "Listen, do you want to come in and jump in here and save the show?" The numbers make sense. I'm ready. Do you know what I mean? And I believe and back myself again against anybody.
Obviously, the reason why you put out that post was Conor Benn failed. There was an adverse result in his VADA test. It came back positive. So when you heard the news, as everyone else, what was your initial reaction when you heard Conor Benn had failed?
I actually remember I was training and someone was on a treadmill and they shouted across to everyone in the gym, was like, "Conor Benn just failed a drug test. The fight's off." We all looked at each other and was like, "You're full of shit." And Joe, my coach, turned around and looked at us all and says, I told you that would happen. And yeah, it was just bizarre. It's one of them ones. I believe that, and especially with this Dr. Usman coming out and the statements he's made in some of his interviews that have been dug up, I believe, like, I put a tweet out and said 90%, which is maybe a big call, but at least 70-80% of all top athletes are on drugs.
I mean, it's a difficult situation in terms of the substances and stuff like that. I mean, athletes can't take a protein shake if it's got this certain a fiend, whatever the heck you want to call it, in it. You can't take an energy drink. You can't take a pre-workout. You can't take some vitamin C tablets. You can't really. It's so much to watch which you put in your system. I mean, you're an athlete yourself, a pro athlete. I'm guessing you have to go through that as well. You have to phone up somewhere and say, "Can you take this and take that?" How strenuous and how difficult it is to stay on top of it all, do you think?
Not difficult at all. I employ a nutritionist who tells me all my vitamins and everything's up there, and they've all been tested. My protein, my nutritionist told me about getting new creatine and protein for this camp, and I said I've already got my protein, creatine and thing. He says my protein isn't tested. It's not. I can't remember the right word, but it's not tested. Here's a website for ones that are. I went on, I ordered the ones that are. He says, let's not take the risk of something might not come up under my protein, but something might. So let's minimize the risk. And we know that if anything was to come up in a test that you ever took, we have proof of that this is tested, so then you could sue that company for lying. Do you know what I mean? So it's not hard to stay on top of it. I'm sure Conor Ben has a nutritionist. I'm sure near enough most professional fighters who can afford a nutritionist has a nutritionist. And it's their job to tell you what to put into your system and make sure that everything's tested and make sure that you're taking the right things, nothing's illegal. Even I remember my fight in Liverpool last year. My wisdom tooth was coming through fight week. So I was taking painkillers and ibuprofen, and my manager was on the website. Don't know what website was on the website, making sure that there was nothing in the painkillers or the ibuprofen that I was taking, so that I wouldn't fail the drug test. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have the right team around you to make sure you're taking the right things, and I believe that Conor, he's got enough money. Do you know what I mean? I believe he's got a nutritionist and whatever else, and he's not stupid. Everything that he'll be taking is tested, and I believe. Listen, I'm not one to throw shade and go pointing fingers and blaming people on stuff, but I've been from what I've read up and what I've been told, it's a substance that he has to take. It can't be through food or drinks or anything like that. So he knows what he's been at. Do you know what I mean? He's blatantly took it. Now, for some reason, if the sample B comes back and he gets cleared, then you can kind of say, right, okay, it was a mistake or whatever else. But from this Dr. Usman and stuff like that, and him failing a drug test and him going and removing his social medias and his thing, it's all a bit suspect for me.
Like I said, you mentioned there about it can't be taken a thing, but some fighters can't even take antihistamine when they've got hay fever because of something in that. So it's
whenever I turned pro, I used to struggle to sleep, and I used to take night nurse, because it helped me. It helped knock me out. And my old coach Al told me that you're not allowed to take night nurse because there's a banned substance in it, and I stopped there and then.
You can take day nurse, though. Did you know that? You can take day nurse, but you can't take night nurse.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's it. So I think I say I mean, it is a difficult situation, but I mean, all the facts have still got to come out, and I'm guessing we'll probably hear more about it in the next couple of weeks. But I'm pretty sure people are bored about talking about this because it was a good few days now. But so let's jump straight back onto you then, Peter Dobson in London. Huge bill, Katie Taylor, Gary Cully. It's a whole Irish contingent going over again. What can we all expect from the Black Thunder, Caoimhin Agyarko?
What we always suspect I always bring fireworks, always bring exciting fights, but I think we're going to see a better, improved Caoimhin Agyarko. We've been working on a lot of things this camp, which I've needed with my new coach Joe and Declan, just polishing up on a couple of things, working on things that I felt like were the gaps in my kind of certain gaps in my defense and my attacks and stuff like that. And listen, I've been putting on good performances, but for my standard, I feel like they've been average. And I feel like now with Joe and Declan, they've added so much to my game and kind of fixed so much. I'm still learning, we're still working, but yeah, I feel like this is going to be a career best performance for me.
And it's when I'm looking forward to, Keevan, like I said to you when you turned pro, when I watched you back in the Usher Hall, I was like, oh, I'm a fan, so I'm looking forward to your fight. Yeah, if you're in and around Liverpool next week with the Probellum show and all that sort of stuff, I'll probably catch you if you're in and around. You'll be there. Well, I'll catch you next week, then we'll get another chat, mate, no doubt. But like I said, listen, I appreciate your time as always, brother, and I'll see you next week then.
See you next week, Andy.
Cheers, Keevan. Cheers, bro.
See you later.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.